Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Incarta Talks. And today with me I have a special guest, and her name is Magdalen Rose. Hi, Magdalen.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
It's Sunday afternoon. It's
Mhm.
raining here where I'm in Canada. Is it raining down where you are?
It is finally not raining.
It's not, is it, is
We
it like a nice spring day?
kind of, I mean, it's Oregon, so nice spring days are subjective, but
Mm-hmm.
we've actually had a lot of flooding here because it's been raining for like 20 days and it's
Yeah.
suddenly not today. It's pretty cool.
I hear there's some like crazy tornadoes and stuff going across the US right now, but just from what I hear, but
hmm
like in I don't know Kentucky and stuff. Anyway, hope
I mean, they
everyone's okay.
always have tornadoes around that area.
That's true, eh? Um, so what are you up to today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon?
I'm Gosh, what am I doing? I mean, I'm basically trying to relax before I have to go back to work on Monday, and I'm
Same.
hoping to get some work done on my novel, if I can do that and chill with my kid.
Yeah, nice, awesome. So the reason why I invited you to to Incarta Talks is because I've seen you on the Vaporwave Twitter, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
So you're like you're a YouTuber, but you're also a Vaporwave fan. And
Yes.
I guess you're a YouTuber first. How long have you been doing videos on YouTube?
Well, I started doing videos on a smaller platform called Blip TV, and
Okay.
generally because I was part of a community of people who used as funny as it is, a lot of copyrighted content
Okay.
for our videos, and Blip TV had a little bit more of a
A little bit more
lenient
leeway. Yeah.
policy
Yeah.
about that. So we were all over there. It was a pretty cool platform. We liked it, but then Maker Studios bought it and essentially shut it down. So we all moved over to YouTube. But I'd say I've been doing videos for about 6 years.
Okay, cool. And when did you first get into, because like I said, I know of you from kind of the vaporwave scene on Twitter, you've been like, you've been on some posts and stuff like that. And that's what kind of brought me to your YouTube channel a little bit.
Cool, cool.
Um, yeah, so like when did you start getting into vaporwave? I'm just curious.
It's sort of difficult to say. I always really liked the idea of like these sort of strange nostalgic things that I was seeing on the internet about like the 80s and the 90s, and I could see it, and it was sort of in the background radiation of my internet experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know what it was called for the longest time. And then I'm sure, I bet it was Pat Chennington. I ran into his channel and I was like, oh, it's called Vaporwave. Oh, I love that. And so it's probably been about a year. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually pretty new to the scene. And I feel like I've had a lot of like FOMO, fear of missing out, where I'm like
Yeah.
catching up with everything that's happened.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny that you mentioned Pad Chennington because I've been kind of into vaporwave since 2015,
Cool.
and I've been waiting for I'm like someone needs to like someone's going to do YouTube channel and run with this, you know what I mean?
hmm
And he really has, and
Yeah.
it's one of the first and even one of the only right now. I mean, there's a couple more coming out, but I think he's doing a good job of bringing it to that platform, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
reviews and stuff like that.
And I think it's been to great success because he not only does he have content that allows people who are already into vaporwave, like they know the scene, they know what they're talking about, they can get something out of it. But he also has videos for people who just never they don't know what it is. And so
Hmm.
as I've fallen down this like rabbit hole of vaporwave content and music and art, my friends have come to me and they're like, Maggie, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
what are you
exactly.
doing? What is vaporwave? And I'm just like, here's this channel. He will explain everything.
Well, that's like imagine me trying to explain to my boss that I need a little bit of time off to go talk to Rolling Stone magazine
Right.
about putting vaporwave on floppy disks, you know what I mean?
hmm
He's like, "What's going on?
hmm
what are you into, you know?"
Yeah, it's very weird. I've had to I have had a lot of explaining to do about my cassette tape obsession,
Yeah.
where people are like, "I'm sorry, are you buying cassette tapes off the internet?" And yes, yes, I am. Don't judge me.
And see, to me, like that's normal now, right? I have a case,
Right,
like a glass case behind me with like, I got a Cat Corp record and Private Suite magazine and a bunch of tapes and stuff. And to me it's normal. And to
right,
to me what's not normal is like vaporwave is so fast, so how can I say it? Evolving so fast. And
right.
there's so many artists coming out like I don't I feel like I don't know enough about vaporwave still, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I'm like kind of into it, and I've been into it for like 4 years or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, but there's just always something, new and something coming out to check out. But
yeah.
sorry, go ahead. On that note, I just want to talk
Mhm.
about this for 2 seconds, if you don't
Sure.
mind. On that, is this true that you buy vaporwave cassettes in your sleep?
Okay,
Can you
let's.
explain that a
I
little bit?
mean, not anymore. It
Okay.
it happened a few times. I did make a video about it, and I don't know who ratted me out to my doctor, but I have got it. I I am in the process of being weaned off of Ambien at this
Okay.
moment.
Because you're
But
having
yes,
ambient kind of vaporwave buying episodes?
yeah, that did happen. I I mean, I'm like anybody else. I have my phone with me at night, and I'm just sort of like I
Hmm.
actually really like the Bandcamp app because it's very convenient, and I listen to like the majority of the music I listen to now is through the Bandcamp app and through my collection there.
Yeah, it's almost too convenient. Yeah.
I know that's what's dangerous about it.
Yeah.
Oh, and it just links up straight to my PayPal. And I've had chronic insomnia for my entire life,
Hmm.
and I take Ambien at night, and then there's this sort of intermediary point where I'm not asleep yet, but I'm also not really awake.
Yeah, in between.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very in between in this weird realm where I'm just like, this is, I have to get yes, this. And then things just started arriving in the mail.
And you're like, oh, a little treat that I don't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
Surprise
Surprise.
from Ambien Maggie,
Yeah.
as we've been calling it.
Little surprise from Ambient, and everyone's like, "What are you doing, like with all those tapes?" But
Hmm.
so I watched one of your videos. I think it had to do, yes, it had to do with St. Patrick's Day.
Hmm.
And you don't drink. You made that clear.
Right.
Just because like you don't, it's not good for you is what you said, I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wean myself off. I've been drinking heavily for years, so I've joined the gym recently.
That's awesome. Very
Yeah, I
cool.
went I went all this weekend. I watched Saturday Night Live at the gym. But anyway, little don't want to toot my own horn, but beep beep. But on the I think in that video you mentioned like you live in a college town and stuff like that, and there's people like just getting shit faced all the time and puking all over
Yeah.
the place. There's puddles of puke.
Yeah.
You mentioned something that kind of like it brought back memories for me. It was called Thirsty Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
When I was younger, about 19 years old, 18, we had Thirsty Thursday at this place called the Zoo up in northern Ontario where I grew up.
Yeah.
And it was just like no one showed up for work on Friday. You know what I mean?
Right.
It
Yeah.
was like Thirsty Thursday, and they played like Ja Rule and Ashanti
Hmm.
and 50 Cent and all these, bands and stuff like that were popular back then.
Hmm.
And you could smoke back then in the bar. I'd smoke like a pack of, I don't smoke anymore, but
Yeah. Good.
the thing is, it was like $2 a beer.
Yeah.
So like all these kids would just get totally, totally shit faced.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying that like it wasn't fun sometimes, but looking back on like what you had to say about that in that St. Patrick's Day video, I'm like, oh my God, it's true. Like there's a lot of just we were a burden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On
And
on
I
the
have gotten,
downtown.
yeah, for sure. Like I have gotten a couple of people pushing back, like, that's so mean of you to say it. I'm like, well, I mean, it's mean of you to wake me up in the middle of the fucking night. And
That's true. Yeah.
it's mean of you to leave broken glass in my driveway, man. Like,
Yeah, and I think you
yeah.
even said in the video that you actually went out to help someone and they thought you were like a crackhead.
Yeah, there was a young man who had like gotten so drunk he couldn't walk, and
Hmm.
it was really cold out. It was like 30 degrees out, and he had wandered away from a party without a coat, and so he was in a t-shirt like on the ground in my driveway.
Yeah,
And I'm
like
like, this kid's gonna fucking freeze to death. I can't
Mhm.
just leave him there. So I went out there with like a blanket and I'm trying to find somebody to help him. At first he thought I was a tweaker. I don't know if you guys call them tweakers there. Oregon
Yeah.
has a really bad meth problem. So yeah. And I had to convince him. I was like, dude, no, I live in this house. You're in my driveway, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep you from freezing to death, dude.
Yeah.
And I was able to find somebody to take care of him. But like,
Yeah.
had I not gone out there, he easily could have frozen to death over for like nothing for just being, you know, too drunk. Probably a good kid, probably doing a lot of great stuff in his life, or potentially it just
Mhm.
seems like just needlessly reckless. Because like I don't judge people for drinking because I've drank in my life. I used to drink regularly, and
Yeah,
I'm
like
not saying it wasn't.
I'm drinking a beer right now. Just,
Yeah, I
to
mean,
be
like
honest with you.
it's not a big deal. Like,
No, that's
but
right.
yeah, I do think that our culture is sort of like has this really excessive weird thing about alcohol where it has to be involved in everything.
I agree with you on that because
Yeah.
you said something like you have to hit rock bottom before, you culturally you're allowed not to drink, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's
It's like,
involved in everything. It's like I was walking out of the grocery store the other day
mhm.
and they had like samplers of like wine, right? At the
Yeah.
wine rack, little
Hmm.
shot glass. I'm like, that must be hard for recovering alcoholics, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I would imagine so. I have known a few, and they, it's everywhere, and it gets to the point where you realize like it is odd as an adult in our culture if you don't drink.
Yeah, that's true. That's
And
true.
that's like kind of weird because it's not odd if you don't smoke cigarettes. People are like, "Oh, well, yeah, you don't smoke because like it's fucking bad for you."
Yeah.
It's like, but you don't drink. That's weird. Like
Yeah,
you're like a
and it's
weird
like
fuddy
it
duddy or
is the
something.
number one killer, or
Yeah,
number two, but number one probably for sure.
I don't know. I try to be realistic about that. It's like, well, I mean, when you look at the evidence, when you look at what it does to you, like it is probably pretty bad for me.
Oh
I
yeah,
should probably
totally.
not do it.
Oh yeah, and not to mention like how many days of just from a personal standpoint, just being hungover, calling in sick to work,
Hmm.
missing out on like $100
Yeah.
or and spending 150 at the bar in a stupid night. I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm trying to I'm older now, so I'm trying
Hmm.
to like better myself. I'm trying to go to the gym and do stuff, see how
That's
it
awesome.
goes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I've been doing the other thing for way too long. Um,
Yeah.
is it true that when you were younger you ate raw hamburger?
Okay. Yes. I was really young. Like I was
Okay.
really young. Not like a weird like not like 15, but like 5 or something.
Okay. What about
Uh
cat food too? Is that true?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a whole series of videos called 30-second secrets where I was just it's like, "Oh yeah, I did this weird thing when I was little. Let's tell everybody."
Yeah.
Cuz it was actually an experiment with the YouTube algorithm of whether or not because I tend to make videos that are like researched, scripted, edited, maybe 2 large videos a month. And
Yeah.
that's really bad for your channel. Because YouTube really wants you to put out daily content, but daily content is usually not very good quality, and that's not really what I'm. It's not my jam. It's not what I want to do.
You know what's really weird? Sorry, I just want
Mm.
to interject here for a second.
No, go for it.
My my friend I interviewed Eric on the episode 1 of Incarta Talks. He
Hmm.
has like a big YouTube channel called Retail Archaeology.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, and I interviewed him for the first episode. You're on the second episode, by the way.
Cool.
And he's having a real hard time right now with YouTube just totally getting rid of all his comments on every video.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Listen, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, what's going on? Give me back my comments." And they're like, "No,
Yeah.
there's been some weird like, minor shit, some weird." He's like, "No, like, what are you guys talking about? Like, put all my comments back. There's nothing wrong at all, right?"
Yeah. It's
And what's going
yeah.
on with
You
YouTube right now? I mean, as far as like, I don't know what
Dude,
they're
so
doing.
much. I follow it. I mean, obviously, anybody who has any sort of like vested interest in like YouTube as a career, we follow that kind of stuff consistently. And YouTube's been sort of a trash fire for
No
years
doubt, yeah.
in different, varied, colorful ways. YouTube is consistently fucking up. Um, I'm actually. I probably shouldn't be talking about this because I'm involved with some interesting new stuff as far as like alternative platforms
Okay.
and things like that. I can't
Yep.
talk about too
That's
much,
okay.
but
That's okay. Yeah.
yeah, and but I will be going to VidCon and
Nice.
checking that out for that. I can't. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be talking about
That's okay. That's
it.
okay. You don't have to talk about that, but
Yeah.
obviously, like you know, you're obviously making a go of a YouTube channel, and
Hmm.
that's not easy to do, especially with the first off just doing it on your as a thing that you want to do. Second
Yeah.
off with the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that's going on right now. But anyway, well,
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is, so a while ago, every once in a while I'll get comments of like, "Why don't you have more subscribers? Why don't you have more views?" And the truth of that is that because I demonetize my videos myself,
mm-hmm.
I don't monetize them because I don't want to deal with YouTube as like an entity for trying to like I don't want their ads basically, and I don't want to have to deal with their copyright crap. And generally you can fly a lot further under the radar if you don't monetize.
Okay.
And so I was just like, well, I'll just go over to Patreon and people can, check that out.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say you have a Patreon and like people are on it,
right. Yeah, a few people, they're really cool. And however, YouTube, what I found out eventually was YouTube, it will seriously downplay and not promote your videos to people if they're not monetized.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like they'll like push forward monetized content, which makes sense for them as a business, but it's still pretty shitty for me.
Yeah.
And they won't, and they'll sort of like squunch down anything that's not monetized because it's not profitable for them. I'm like, oh, that's why. I feel kind of dumb, but oh well.
Yeah, yeah. No, so that's some interesting stuff on the horizon then
Yeah,
for
I think
for
so.
Magdalen Rose. Um, yeah, and like I said, it's just kind of funny because I heard of you just by the way of, vaporwave, Twitter,
Hmm.
right? And it's funny, like how many different avenues, like you just see someone commenting or liking stuff, and then you check out their stuff. I guess it's called the internet, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So is it true when you were younger that you stabbed your brother?
Yes, I mean, like I don't generally make up things for my channel, like the weird
Like,
shit
how
that
did
I've
that
done
come
in.
about? Yeah.
So,
You
God,
had a large knife?
I had like not the most supervised childhood, like
Same
not
here.
yeah, like not. I mean, it was the 80s. I was born in 1985,
I was
and my
born in
parents.
81, so
Yeah, so like
yeah,
it
yeah.
was a different time for
It it's
parenting.
like it's like come home when the street lights come on, you know.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It was a very different time, and so like I was sort of like a toddler, and basically what happened is I was left unattended on a table with a kitchen knife, and
Mm,
my brother,
hmm.
who was 6 years older than me, was like, the baby probably should not have a kitchen knife,
No, the baby
uh,
shouldn't
and
have one. No.
and so he reached up to like get it, and I just sort of looked at the knife, I looked at him, and I was just like, ah, and I stabbed the shit out of his hand.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
That
evil baby. Sorry.
evil baby.
Hmm.
So another question. This is kind of a Canadian thing, but I heard
Sure.
through the grapevine that like you've had poutine before?
Oh yeah.
Are you
Poutine's fucking awesome.
so poutine is it a thing that you can obviously get in this, maybe not all the states, but in Oregon and
In Oregon tends to get, because we're so far north, we do get to some of the Canadian delicacies.
mm-hmm.
Uh, however, usually it's not super common. You can get it sort of sometimes in like high-end pubs that have like pub
See, here
food.
you can get in a low end pub.
Right. Yeah. No, so it's like and a lot of the time, I don't know if they're very like strict about what is poutine and what is not, but Oregon tends to put their own like flair on it, where we'll put all sorts of different things. But generally, as long as there's cheese curds and gravy, like it's poutine, right?
Oh yeah, as long as there's curds. If anyone tries to say it's poutine, well, you can either say poutine or
Mm.
poutine.
Yeah.
But if anyone tries to give you poutine with like shredded cheese or something like that,
Hmm.
that's not real. You need
Right.
curds.
That's cheese fries, right?
That's
If
right.
it's shredded cheese, it's cheese fries.
That's right.
And I'm not knocking cheese fries,
No, neither am I.
obviously,
Neither
but
am I.
poutine is like another level, right?
Oh, for sure. So is there like what else can we talk about? I'm through my little notes about stabbing your brother in raw hamburger. What
Is all
is it?
this weird shit you've said about yourself true? Yes. Sorry.
Well, I just people need to go to your YouTube channel right now after this and
Okay.
subscribe.
Thank you.
So, is there anything like what do you want to talk about? 90s? What kind of board games did you play when you were a kid? Do you ever play the video board game Nightmare with it was like a VHS game? You ever play that?
No, but you know what? The only way I heard about that, I didn't have access to a lot of that stuff as a kid,
Okay.
but um God, this is forever ago, and I don't know how many people are going to know about this, but back in the day, there was a game reviewer called the Spoonie One, and
Okay.
he did a show called the Spoonie Experiment, and he did a whole retrospective on the show that the game Nightmare, and that's how I learned about it. And I was like, I
Okay.
completely missed out on this incredibly wild, crazy thing.
Well, see, I don't have the VHS anymore, but you can watch it on YouTube. I still have the board game. So it's kind of
Cool.
cool that you can watch it. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I got this. I was gonna buy this Babysitters Club game the other day because I go thrifting a lot.
Yeah, me too. Like
Yeah.
every weekend.
Oh, me too. We donate. Megan and I donate a bag of clothes or whatever, and then go thrifting at the same
Yeah,
place.
that's like exactly what Will and I do.
Well,
Yeah,
I tried to do like a thing where like I have like a Incarta goes thrifting kind of YouTube thing.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I can't. I don't think I can keep that up because it's really hard work to like. People don't realize how much work goes into like a YouTube video.
Yeah, actually,
You know?
editing generally, I don't know what it is. It's like every 5 or 10 minutes of footage is usually like 3 hours, something like that. And
Wow. Yeah.
there's a ratio there that I can't really remember.
Yeah.
At
It's.
one of my previous thrifting things, I found this incredible tape that is called like Driving the Future, and it's a Pepsi ad campaign from like Generation Pepsi from 1986.
Oh wow. What?
Yeah,
Didn't you have a? Okay, sorry. I thought I saw a video of you reviewing some cassettes that you got in when you
yeah.
while you were sleeping. You ordered some cassettes. Was there like a Pepsi cassette in there or something?
There was, but I wasn't going. I hadn't. My plan was to actually record it and then put it out for vaporwave artists to
Oh,
sample.
okay.
And
Yeah.
I have created a collection of just weird ass tapes that I found that I want to put up. I made like an abandoned YouTube channel. I haven't put on anything on it called Malibu Beats 95,
Oh,
and
nice.
I wanted to just upload all of this weird shit for people to use. Um, but as it turns out, my boombox that is supposedly for recording to MP3 is just garbage. Like it, it
Oh,
records
okay.
at the worst level of sound quality. I would honestly probably get better sound quality holding my camera, my microphone up to my boombox, like 1986 style. You know,
Some people would call that like an added aesthetic, though, but
I thought about that, and I was like, maybe they would like that, but at the same time, I feel like I would want an artist to be able to add or subtract that at if they wanted. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, for sure, for
it like
sure.
comes
It,
prepackaged in.
it's funny that you mentioned that because like I just bought a thing to convert like VHS tapes to like USB like into my
Mm,
computer. So I'm
cool.
doing like some home movies and actually went on Facebook and I've been doing some conversion for like people in town like, oh, here's my wedding video. We haven't seen it in years.
Mhm.
So, I'm making a little bit of cash on the side there, but
That's awesome. Cool way to make cash.
yeah, but there's so much stuff too like I'd like to share, but you can't because it's like personal stuff, but
Yeah, yeah.
even just finding crazy like videos at the thrift store and like I found some like there's one video I have here actually. It's called Ungodly Goosebumps. It's a Christian thing against the Goosebumps series, the books, which is
That's
pretty
amazing.
funny. Yeah.
It's incredible. That reminds me of that video or that movie with Tom Hanks from the I think it was from the 80s about like was it I can't remember. It was about how Dungeons and Dragons was actually like devil worship or something, and
I
it
need
like
to I need to see that.
it's so good. I'm gonna like I'll look it up for you
I
because
haven't.
it's
Speaking
like
of that, I have another VHS right here called Halloween Trick or Treat, and it's against Halloween because it's about the devil. But
that was something amazing about the 80s where there was this intense fear around Satanism. There was
Oh,
this
for
like
sure.
yeah, there was an obsession with Satanism and witchcraft as like it was a real thing that was a real danger to people, and it's just it's perfect. I love that weird panic. Apparently, the Tom Hanks movie is called Mazes and Monsters.
Well, I'm gonna download that tonight.
Do
Check
it.
that out.
Do it.
Well, Magdalen Rose, I want to keep this short and sweet,
Sure.
and I really appreciate you being on Incarta Talks. I really
Yeah.
want to. It's been a while, like we've been in communication stuff, and
Mhm.
it's nice to finally to record this episode. So thank you so much for being on the episode, and everyone check out Magdalen's YouTube channel. It will be
Awesome.
it will be in the description. Uh, I hate it when people say like hit that like and subscribe.
Hit
Uh,
that like and subscribe button.
yeah,
Engage with
yeah.
your monetize your audience.
Uh,
Parasocial relationships.
anyway,
Yeah.
so thank you so much for being on the show. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
And
Thank you for having me.
and keep on buying vaporwave tapes, please, even
Oh,
not in your sleep.
dude, it's happening. That's inevitably going to happen.
Okay, I'll send you a floppy disk, by the way, in the mail.
Nice. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you take care.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.